What up, YouTube? It's me, Isaac, coming to you with another edition of my life. So, I'm a duelist, which means I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've done plenty episodes of my adventures as a duelist. Be it Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, although Pokemon were called trainers even in the TCG, but I digress. So, there was an there was if you remember the Yu-Gi-Oh series, there was a arc before what we know as Yu-Gi-Oh. It was Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0, which has nothing to do with this video. I'm just bringing it up because it's a great it's a great it's a great 27 episodes, even if they only have 12 of them in English right now, thanks to some people who have translated it, which is awesome as heck. I would say the other word, but y'all know what I mean. I can't just yet. Actually, I could because it's past the 30-second mark, but I try not to use curse language until, well, my outros. But there is one song in Yu-Gi-Oh! That absolutely should have been used for the ceremonial duel, which I don't know why the writers didn't use it, because the first time they used it was in the anime only duel, Joey versus Yugi. Although they really should have saved it for the Yugi versus Yami Yugi, aka Atem duel, because that would have made the song so much better, because it's basically the ceremonial duel was basically Yugi versus Yugi from 5,000 years ago. There is no other way to explain it. If you know the lore of Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. But I think the English dub was dubbed by 4Kids, which I think they really, really, really messed up by not using No Matter What for the Yugi versus Atem start duel, because it is basically Yugi versus himself, which, if you know, you know, as I've stated before. But this video isn't just about the wasted opportunity of one of the best songs in Yu-Gi-Oh! It is also about my attempts, because I'm still stuck on, I think I'm like, given the side content and the post game, I think I'm like 80% of the way through the main story of Reshef of Destruction, which honestly, if I was playing this on the 2004 or the double pack hardware, I would not be playing it, because my god, it is. I've like 2 months before the Yu-Gi-Oh Early Days collection was announced, I bought the double pack of Sacred Cards and Reshef of Destruction. Do I regret that? And then buying the double pack? Hell no. Am I glad that I bought the both of them? Heck yeah, because it means I've got more physical copies of Yu-Gi-Oh to play besides just the actual TCG. And that's absolutely amazing to me. So, the reason Reshef of Destruction, the 2004 version, is so godforsaken, so raw forsaken hard, if you know, you know, is because Sacred Cards was considered way too freaking easy. And I will tell you this, when I got the double pack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! Rechef of Destruction, it took me less than, I want to say, so I started playing it the minute my mom got the package. Well, not the minute, but you know what I mean. Right after I let my DS charge that had the Game Boy Advance slot. But I digress. So I started playing Sacred Cards because I didn't just want to jump into Rechef of Destruction, even though Rechef of Destruction was the reason why I bought the double pack. Because I already have a copy of, I already had 2 single copies of Rechef of Destruction and Sacred Cards. I actually have multiple copies of Sacred Cards. But again, I digress. A few of them are actually outside in my hallway. I mean, outside my bedroom, in my hallway, in my display case. At least, I think 2 of them are. But I digress again. So I basically have 4 copies of the Sacred Cards and 2 copies of Rechef of Destruction, because Rechef of Destruction came in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection, along with Duel Monsters 1, Duel Monsters 2, Duel Monsters 3, Capsule Monsters, as I call the chess one, and I actually think that is what the chess one is called. But where I started playing was, and I actually haven't played this version of this game on the early days collection yet, because it was so bleeping hard, because my eyes aren't the best, and Dark Duel Stories is just so freaking confusing. But yeah, it was just wild. And like I said, I will never play Rechef of Destruction on the 2004 hardware ever, because my God, it is so Slifer, if you know, you know, hard, that, oh God, is it so obelisk hard, because they upgraded they pushed the limits of what the Game Boy Advance could do. In my opinion, they pushed the limits for Rechef of Destruction, and they upped the challenge level of Rechef of Destruction by so much that you can't even build a strong enough deck to get through the first duel, except for if it's a regular NPC, not a main character duel, or one of the side quest duels, like the Rebecca v. Kaiba side quest. You cannot build you cannot build a strong enough deck to beat that, because the duelist level only increases by 1 in Rechef of Destruction, and you only get like a fraction of what you used to get in Sacred Cards, which is you used to get, let me think if I remember this right, because it's been a while since I played Sacred Cards. The last time I actually played Sacred Cards was when I did my adventures as a duelist about Sacred Cards. But again, I digress. So I think you get like 5 deck capacity and like 30 domino for a regular duel, and then against Yugi and Joey in the card shop, or rather, not the card shop of the game, but grandpa's card shop, you get like 500 domino and about 10 duelist level, and it was it was it was so sacred cards was so much easier than Reship of Destruction on the original hardware. And even now with the enhancements that the Japanese versions of Sacred Cards and Reship of Destruction, uh, Reship of Destruction is still making me sweat bullets. And I mean that hypothetically because like I said, I'm getting close to the end of Reship of Destruction. Well, minus the post game and the side quest that I'm looking forward to. And the only reason I know about the side quest is because I've watched somebody beat Reship of Destruction 100%. And that's the only reason I know that the side quest is basically like season 3 of the first 27 episodes of season 3, which which was basically a filler arc while they were working on the rest of the Battle City arc of Yu-Gi-Oh. And one of the duelists becomes a monkey, and by that I mean literally, well, quote, literally becomes a monkey like they did in the virtual world arc of the series. The character doesn't actually end up turning into a monkey, but it was just a toy that was sold by Kaiba Corp in the game. And my God, am I looking forward to that side quest, because that robot monkey that Kaiba Corp designed just looks exactly like the robot monkey that Honda in the Japanese and Tristan in the Western version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Look like. And it's going to be so much fun dueling him when and I remember, and if I remember right, the robot monkey just turned out to be a robot monkey that Yugi's grandpa had bought for just to entertain himself while Yugi, Joey, and your main character and the main character of the game, which is you, basically, are off fighting the Millennium items and basically saving the world. And I know that the last couple of duels before the post game are going to make me sweat and make me want to rage quit, because I know the last 2 duels, one of them has 10,000 life points and the other has 40,000. So if I don't summon an Egyptian god card, Ross, Lifer, or Obelisk, I am going to be guaranteed losing those matches. And then I know the post-game fights, they all have 60,000 life points. So if I don't end up somehow finding a way to summon all 3, Ross, Lifer, and Obelisk, I will end up losing that. I know I'm not playing on the retro achievements site, which gives you achievements for doing certain things like getting max duelist level, which is 500 or 9,000 with the 9,999 with the enhancements of the early days collection. Although I think it was always 9,999, but like I said, on the original hardware, I never got anywhere close to beating that game because it was so freaking hard. Plus, when you can't sell cards to get more domino if you have one copy of a card, and you can't ante when you only have a single copy of a card, which just made leveling up in Reshift of Destruction so much harder. Although my deck in the early days collection of Reshift of Destruction is basically my deck that I would use for my school tournaments minus Exodia, because I didn't want to have an instant win condition. Although the Egyptian God cards are basically instant win conditions. Well, Slifer's ability gives it basically 9,999 attack points if you have 5 cards in your hand, or even if you have 4 cards in your hand, you'll get close to 9,000 points, which they only have 8,000. You only start out with 8,000 life points unless you are the ending 2 duelist or the post game matches. Like I said, they all have 60,000 life points, which means if I don't summon a god card, I will be royally screwed because of how much. And I'll probably be screwed anyway because summoning the god cards takes 3 sacrifices, and even though I have like 3 cards that can duplicate themselves and a couple of cards that will power them all up, my monsters up, I'm still not looking forward to the post game because that will make me that'll be really, really tricky, even though I know what I'm in for thanks to watching the videos of Reshift of Destruction. And the closest I've ever actually gotten to the end of Reshift of Destruction on either the early days collection or the hardware, and I mean the 2004 hardware, and I honestly don't know how the absolute god card that I managed to get even remotely close to it on the original 2004 hardware, because like I said, that game was so flippin' hard, was the Duelist Kingdom Castle. If you know, you know. And I couldn't even make it through the first Ghost Duelist, although I never actually knew how to make it through there. I didn't know you actually had to find them in the overworld and win their duels against them again. Now I know what I'm going to be up against. But man, is this going to make me sweat so much. Hypothetically, and I bet literally too, because of how freaking hard that these matches are going to be if I ever make it back to them, because let's just say I've accidentally, afterwards, I tried to rebuild my deck on Reshift of Destruction. Even with the 9,999, I tried rebuilding my deck to go against the Ghost Duelist, or as I call them, Phantom Duelist, which, like I said, I never knew that you're supposed to go challenge them and challenge the people and go get their spirit monsters, which, if people have beaten that game, they'll know what I'm talking about. I never knew that. I just thought you had to keep beating the one guy over and over and over and over again. Now that I know what I'm up against, I will be looking forward to it. Or rather, I won't be looking forward to it, but I will hopefully use the hopefully remember the path I gotta take, which now that I know I will be using that path. I'm looking forward to getting to the end and seeing if I can actually beat the I can't remember what it's called, but I'm just gonna call it the, let's see, there's 10 duelists there in the post game part of the game, and I'm looking forward to it, so I'll probably just call it the 600,000 life point challenge, because everybody starts out with 60,000 life points and there's 10 of them. And here's the messed up part. If I was playing this on retro achievements, I would have to take down everybody without leaving the room and refilling my life points. And you only have 8,000 life points. And to take on somebody with more than, let's see, like I said, 600,000 life points, a lot more life points than the 8,000 you have. Even if you have cards to increase your life points, if you go over and win a duel over the life point count of 8,000, it resets to 8,000, which is absolutely hard to beat, hard to even do without getting attacked. Basically, the only way to win those matches that I can see is to deck everybody out by summoning all 3 god cards, or at least 1 or 2, because they can't be beaten because they are divine, and divine has no weaknesses, which is very nice. But I'm, like I said, I'm nowhere near there because I still want to do the side content of dueling the monkey, which sounds really, really funny when I say it out loud. And I'm looking forward to that match, and it'll just be interesting to do all that. And yeah, I'm your host, Isaac Brummett. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. I know I sure as shit will. Peace out, y'all.